everybody. This is Heather and Josh Roberts here with you today. We are doing Sales Tip Tuesdays. So, Heather Roberts and with my co-founder and business partner and husband, Josh Roberts, we are the founders of RSG Sales. Today, we are going to be talking about things that you need to know for images and video. So we're going to talk about all the requirements that internet retailers have for images, and we're going to give you some tips on what you need to do for creating good video. So Josh just went to shut a door, so there we go. Here he is.
That's
All
better.
right.
Hey,
Yeah. All right. So let's go and let's talk about this a little bit. So Josh, can you tell us what the requirements that internet retailers have for imagery?
yes, 2000 by 2000 sizing with 72 DPI, and then a silhouette background. And many retailers also have other requirements for close-up and lifestyle shots and so forth.
Okay, so when you say 2000 by 2000, you're saying 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels, and the
Right,
minimum requirement is a 72 DPI.
right.
However, what do we actually recommend?
With
At,
150 DPI.
we recommend
Yeah,
you have 150 DPI.
for a
Yeah.
little more
Uh,
clarity, a little more. Yeah,
That's, yep. And the reason behind 150 DPI, it gives the customer better zoom capability. So in other words, when they zoom in on a product, the picture doesn't look grainy. So that's why the higher quality is better. All right. And how many images do internet retailers like Wayfair or Home Depot or Overstock ideally want?
ideally they want at least three, which again would be a really good white silhouette background, coupled with close-up product shots showing features and materials. And what's really important is the lifestyle, because every retailer's found that you get 15 to 20% more conversion when customers click into your product if you have a lifestyle image. So lifestyle is very
Okay.
important.
And
Yeah.
then, but there are a couple retailers in particular that have a minimum image number requirement. Um, do you want to address who those are and what those numbers are?
I mean, Wayfair, you can get away with just one, although it's not recommended. Overstock will definitely at the beginning of the onboarding process will want to confirm that you have lifestyle. And then Home Depot and Lowe's, they require at least three, which would include a lifestyle of one of the three.
Okay, and Macy's requires a minimum of 5 to 6.
Right.
Home Depot will push back extensively if you don't have, you know, they'll push back, quite frankly. If you don't have 5, they expect you to have 5 by the time the product goes
Hey,
live.
and a lifestyle is very important. Yeah,
Right,
to them.
right, right. Okay. And so if you had to give a supplier who was maybe new to selling to internet retail, one piece of advice when it comes to their imagery, what would that be?
Do not cut any corners. Do it right. Do it professionally.
Okay, and then so what do you like, what do you mean by that? Can you specify?
First and foremost, don't try to do it yourself with your phone. Don't try to get a camera and do it. Hire a professional photographer that can shoot your white silhouette background, meet all the different image requirements, 2000 by 2000, 150 DPI. Get it done right the first time, because it's going to be a huge factor in your conversion.
Okay, and then how do you what do you think a best practice is for, handling lifestyles? Because if you're a supplier and you've got, 125 products, it can be a real big financial investment to do that. So what's a good rule of thumb?
Well, definitely start with your best sellers. Look at the items that do 80% of your business, which is probably going to be 20% of your line. And that still could be a lot of items. So then focus on your top 10. And then Heather, you could probably give, there's some agencies out there that do photoshopping, which could be a good solution as well too. You know more about that than me.
So there are some kind of behind the scene tricks. A couple of them are You can use companies that can do a clipping service that will take your image of your silhouette product. If it's not on a pristine, clear white background, they'll clip that and put it onto a white background for you. There also are companies that can create a kind of a 3D quote unquote version of a lifestyle, get a couple of different versions so that if you have an easy to pop in product, like say lighting or a rug or a specific kind of end table or something, they can help you do that so that you can actually maximize your dollar spend on your on your imagery. So okay, so I think if you have any other questions about your images and the best way to do it, do me a favor, quote below and put in a hashtag image, and we'll help get you a little bit more information about how to do imagery.
Okay, so Heather, we know images are critical to the online space, and the online space continues to get more challenging. There's more competition. It doesn't get any easier. So why do you think videos? What about them work? Before we get into some video
Sure.
strategies, why do they work?
Yeah, so video works because it resonates with the customer in a very intimate way. And what I mean by that is it gives the supplier the ability to really zoom in to one particular area of the product that maybe is a really unique selling feature. Or maybe it's that your product looks, when you look at a picture, it may be hard to set up, but the reality is it's just a couple of, flips of some switches or whatever, and bam, you have an instant, office. So it's a very easy and quick way to communicate, visually with your customer the things that are most important. Um, Video also can be used to overcome objections, and what I mean by that. So if you have a room divider, for instance, room dividers can look like that they are very cumbersome and may have a lot of parts, especially if they're an office divider, which given the last year or so have become a lot more popular. So it overcomes the objective or the objection of this is hard to assemble when they see it. So I think that video is used in two ways. One, it communicates with the customer the thing that makes your product the most unique and valuable, but it also is used to overcome objections. And it does it visually, it doesn't require them to really think or read.
Yeah, I think the other two opportunity is the time with your imagery is then you can give an actual natural 3D view of the product in your video. You can walk around it, show it from different angles, show it on the top, show it on the bottom. So it's just more information. So, okay, so you had a very successful decorative pillow company and Wayfair was your biggest customer.
Yep.
So can you talk a little bit about videos on Wayfair, requirements, anything you would
Yep.
suggest and how long they should be, things like that?
Yeah, so you want to remember a couple of key things. First, you want to keep your video to under a minute. I know that sounds like it's common sense, but you would be surprised. um, Also, when you're using video on Wayfair specifically, you need to remove all branding. As you know, Wayfair white labels everything, so you need to make sure you don't have any kind of branding. Then you need to have a minimum resolution of 1920 by 1080. That's the preferred version. The absolute minimum is 1280 by 720. A couple other things from a creation standpoint, you need to make sure if you have audio in your video that it is very clear to understand. You must be in sync with the video and it must be easy to understand. Also, you want your aspect ratio to be 16:9. And that just so it sits properly on the screen when the customer views the video. Your formats, they're the typical. It's an MP4, it's an MOV, it's an MPEG2. Nothing outrageous. Your thumbnail image though can be is a JPEG or a PNG. So from the technical standpoint, you need to remember minimum requirements of 1280 by 720. Videos need to have very clear audio. If if you have supplemental text or maybe some subtitles or you've added some text in there, make sure it's spelled correctly, because if you have misspelled words, they won't use it. The preferred aspect ratio, 16 to 9, and a standard format like a MP4 or an MOV. Pretty much covers up the technical requirements.
Okay. And what are some, if you're I'll give you an example. Like, what if you're a furniture company and you have, hundreds of products? So
Right.
if you, or a lighting company, cabinetry, decorative accessories, any number of things. So the same thing with lifestyle imagery. It's hard to do it, on every single item. So
Yeah.
give these guys a cheat sheet of, some strategies to do it.
Yeah, so if you can find a common theme among your products,
Mm.
and you
Hmm.
can make it that direction,
Yep.
highly recommend
Yep.
doing that. So, for example, if you have a line of end tables and you use, your end tables have that drawer slide that closes gently, and it's on all of your end tables, highlight that feature. Make sure you use some pop-up graphics with that. So it's a very short, like, hey, easy close, drawer. Or if there's something in particular that you can highlight and really be able to use one video multiple
Right.
times,
Like wood quality
then
as an example. Like if
exactly,
they
that's what I was going
use
to say next.
Brazilian
Right.
oak,
Right. So you want to be able to have another example is if you have a specific, material. So maybe, maybe that's your grain of wood, or maybe, it's the resin or the whatever the case may be of the material. You want to make sure you focus on that so that you create, because they're expensive to do, you can create as many possible videos, um, you know, in the least expensive way.
Okay, so I think that's some pretty good direction. So you can not have to spend a ton of money, but you can put together an effective video to really accentuate your product. So, all right, so give everybody a couple things that you just don't do. Don't ever do this.
Well, don't ever misspell words. Don't have it be over a minute. I think there are a couple of things. Video is different than images. And
Yeah.
what I mean by that is you actually do have the capability, because the quality of the video in your phone is
Right.
really high. So this is actually counterintuitive to what you do with images. With
Exactly. Yeah.
um, so with your phone, if you have a good quality iPhone, you've got a great little camera there. And if you have access to like iMovie or any of the other movie software, you can actually create on your own, maybe with a graphic designer, a good video that shows, unique product features. And you want these videos to be eye-catching, they want to be brightly colored, you want them to be very short, you want it to be specific. You don't want to have someone drone on and on and on. And truthfully, in my opinion, you don't even necessarily want someone speaking in your videos. You want to use visual graphics. So the worst thing you can do when creating a video is have someone sit here and narrate the whole thing. You've got to remember, people take 3 seconds before they're going to make a decision of whether they're going to buy or not. So in your first 3 seconds, you better be quick, you better be to the point, and you better show it off right. And given the way technology is with phones and videos and editing software that you can have easy on your computer, I highly recommend seeing if you can put together a good video, or send it off to, send them things off to Fiverr, or a similar type agency to create that
Mhm.
video. So making video is a little more accessible than I think people realize. If you want some extra help, with we actually have relationships with a couple of really good videographers and directors. So if you want some extra help on how to do this yourself, because that's partially what they teach,
Mhm.
just put hashtag help in the comments, and we'll be able to hook you up with them.
Okay, so you're a professional shopper and consumer yourself.
Mhm.
So when you look at video, well, first of all, why do you like videos, and what are you looking to get out of them when you look at them? Because you buy a lot of products online.
Yeah, so when I watch a video, if I like to use it for the purpose of like, if I wasn't sure about understanding a function of it or a piece of
Mm,
it, or for example, an image didn't clearly illustrate a specific detail, that's when video is helpful. Video actually, for me as a shopper, is also most helpful when it comes to assembly, um, scale, and overcoming objections.
yeah,
Like
great point.
for
Great point.
so when I had my decorative throw pillow company, one of the things that we actually ended up doing with our pillows is we created a how to measure a pillow video. I know it sounds ridiculous, sounds lame, but it overcame the objection that we constantly got, which was, I thought I ordered a 16-inch pillow, but this is only 15 and a half. Well, when you we created a video that said when you are actually, filling a pillow, the blank part of it, we go end to end is 16 inches. But when you fill it, it makes the appearance of shrinking a bit because you have to account for the filling, the stuffing inside. So one of the things is if you are looking for a specific size pillow, order up one size. And we were able to tackle that objection in our video. It was super short. It was to the point. We didn't have any words. It was all visual, and it really did help us cut down on things like returns and so forth.
So you
So
think videos in general reduce buyer's remorse, incidents of buyer's remorse?
I think I think it definitely helps. I think it helps with
Yeah,
things like buyer's remorse because you're giving the customer the most amount of information.
exactly. Okay, excellent.
Yeah. All
All right.
right. Well, so I think this really does a pretty good job of covering some, tips and tricks and ins and outs of imagery and the requirements of internet retailers. They all are a little bit unique and different. Some ways you can be creative with your video that will enhance your listings. So I think that's a pretty good deal. If you have any other questions, like I said, comment below. Somebody will reach out for you. And if you ever want help with your e-commerce account management, or you want some coaching, then check us out. We can help you with that too. So yeah, hope you have had a good time and enjoyed this. And we will be back next Tuesday at 9:30 to do this all again. All right, bye, gang. Thanks a
Have a
lot.
good week.